State Representative and House Democratic Caucus Chair Gene Wu of Houston. Thank you so much, and welcome back to Ion Politics.
Thanks for having me.
So, the Texas legislative session is coming to an end. It'll be sine die. And so, I'm wondering, how would you sum up this session?
This has been a pretty rough session. Not just for me because I'm chair, but also because the state did a lot of damage to Texas, to Texans everywhere. Did a lot of stuff that the public has overwhelmingly said that they didn't want us to do, and then failed to do the stuff that they did ask us to do.
So, what are the most egregious bills that passed in your view?
Well, I mean, top of the line is vouchers. Texans overwhelmingly did not want to spend billions and billions of dollars sending rich kids to private school. And, at the same time, Texans asked us to fully fund education. Of the $16 billion hole that was left, but because of COVID, we only filled in 8.5 of it. Um, so, so there you go. The public overwhelmingly said don't ban THC. That's comes from conservatives and liberals and everyone else, and the state did it anyways. The legislature did it anyways, and it's just incredibly frustrating. And I can't imagine what it's like for the average Texan watching out there, going, "What the hell is going on?"
And let me ask you this, because the $1 billion that the legislature passed for school choice, the money, as far as education, yes, they approved $8.5 billion of new money. Why don't you think that's good enough?
Well, I mean, so first of all, it's not $1 billion for school vouchers, whatever you want to call it. It's $1 billion capped at the first year. The next year after that, the next cycle of that is 7 billion, and then it goes to 9, and then it just keeps growing from there. It is far, far more than $1 billion. Why did we stop at 8.5 billion to cover the $16 billion hole for public education? Well, you need to ask Governor Abbott that. You need to ask Dan Patrick that, because it was their decision to do that. We had the money, we had the resources to fully fund education. The people in charge, Greg Abbott, Dan Patrick, chose not to fully fund education.
But most of the Democrats went along and voted for it in the House. It was unanimous in the Senate. I know you voted against it. And so tell me a little bit about that. I mean, I
What
mean,
what I mean, what do people expect us to do? I mean, the other choice is to let the state slide into the ocean. We're talking about the complete collapse of the education system in the state of Texas. I don't think that the leadership in the state has talked about this crisis in this manner, because this is the way that the school districts are talking about this. That school districts say we're not on the edge anymore. We're hanging over the cliff by our fingernails, and you guys are playing political games. And you know what? The schools have said the 8.5 billion is not enough, but they will take half over nothing, because that's potentially what we're about to do.
and so going forward for Democrats, what is this going to mean in the future sessions? Because obviously everybody will have to run again in 2026. And so how will the outcome of this session determine how you run and how you try to increase the number of Democrats in the House?
I think number one, I mean, I think Democrats are enraged. I mean, because I think the Democrats here who maybe in the past tried to get along with everybody and try to go along, get along, they're seeing that even those efforts today are wasted. That when given the opportunity to do the right thing, to compromise and do what's good for the whole state, Republicans are refusing to do it. And we're sensing the same frustrations that the people outside of this building are sensing and have been screaming about for years now. I think Democrats are going to come back invigorated. We're going to go into this next election cycle with fire in our eyes. And I think we want the public to come join us. We now hear the cries of the public. And not only that, I think the public has seen us fighting for what they want. And we're going to unite together. We're going to recruit people. We're going to tell people that if you're mad, if you're upset that your legislature doesn't listen to you one bit, that they pat you on the head, they tell you they're going to do one thing and then do the other, if you're tired of that, come join us. If you're tired of being left by the wayside, if you're tired of the government just constantly doing things that you didn't ask them to do and telling you what's good for you and what's not, and taking your freedoms and your rights away day by day, you're tired of it, come with us. We're going to fight back.
And how confident are you that the fire in the eyes, as I believe you said, will translate to votes?
I think it will, because I think the public outside has been screaming for help. And I think some of people thought they had found it in the form of Donald Trump, but now they very clearly see that they were used, they were duped, they were lied to, and their issues are not being taken care of. Instead, we're taking care of, P. Diddy and other people, right? And what we want to tell people is Democrats are here to fight. Democrats are here to fight for the American public, and they're going to do this. And we're going to use all the things that people have been talking about, and we want people to run. We want the people who are mad about this, people who are tired of watching this happen day by day. We want you to come run. Come to us. Come with us. We'll get you the resources. We'll help you. We'll teach you. We'll guide you. But we're going to take this country back. We're going to take this state back bit by bit.
Do you think that the House Democrats had any wins this session?
I think we had a lot of small victories. We were able to kill some really truly terrible crap. Just horrifically hateful laws that serve no other purpose but to denigrate and to divide and to make monsters of minority groups who have no voice.
Do you
We
have
were
any
able to push
examples?
back some of them. We were able to kill some stuff on points of orders. We were able to vote down some bills. We were able to lock some bills up in committee. But but let's not mince words about this. A lot of really bad stuff was passed. Hateful, unnecessary stuff that served only Republican politics and nothing else.
And which bills, as far as some of your wins, stand out? And then to your comment just now, as far as some of the what you called hateful stuff, uh, Pat, that
I mean,
Pat.
just look. Last night, they voted in conference. They added in conference to a bill um, that dealt with student groups and essentially put in language that would completely 100% ban any student groups for LGBTQ students. For what reason? For what purpose? Those groups serve to help students who get picked on, who get bullied, who get attacked, and they're going to ban them. And the author of that bill called them sex clubs, right? That's the kind of disgusting, hateful language that's out there, that this is what they're doing to us.
And as far as some of the, just going back to your comment about some of the wins, to any bills that you were able to
But
kill stand
we
out?
we were able to beat the gender fraud bill that tried to criminalize people for telling people that what gender they would prefer to use. Okay, we beat that bill. We beat some other bills. We beat the anti-homeless bill. We beat some other stuff. Um, we had some small victories along the way, but overall, this session was disgusting from what the Republican leadership has done.
I wanted to ask you about Senate Bill 8, which requires local jails throughout the state to work with ICE and federal immigration authorities
Yeah.
to basically allowing them to serve immigration warrants. What's your thought on that? I believe you oppose that.
It's completely unwarranted and unnecessary. It is purely a messaging bill. Those agreements were already in place. If you go to any county jail in Texas, in hell, anywhere in the United States, they have an office right next door to the immigration office. The immigration office in Houston is inside the county jail. They've been there the entire time. They've done all that work. Absolutely nothing was wrong with the system the way it worked. This is a messaging piece for the right to say they have done something. That is all.
And let me ask you about, I noticed that as part of the budget that passed, the amount of money that's going to border security dropped from, I believe, $6.5 billion to now $3.6 billion for the next 2-year period, I guess to make room for more property tax relief. What's your thought on that?
Just like we've said many, many times before, that this obsession with the border theater is for a show. That as soon as President Trump is elected, all of a sudden, all border security concerns are gone, right? They don't want to actually fix any problems. They want to run on the problem. Whenever we offer a solution to actually fix things and help things, they're never accepted. Like, you know what actually would help the border situation down in the southern border? If the state would help the federal government in building a processing center and just helping some things like that, allocating some land, allocating some buildings, putting some staff there, could easily helped out. But instead, we want to put on a big show. We want to build a big, beautiful wall and all this other fun stuff that's very showy and you can point to it to the public, but doesn't actually do anything.
Well, many
And time
Republicans,
again, that's what we do.
I'm sorry, many Republicans have said what President Trump has done has really dropped dramatically dropped to the lowest point ever of the number of people coming into the country.
And that is completely obtuse and ignores all the data that happened before President Trump took office. Because under Joe Biden, that number was already dropping, is already at record lows under Biden, and then it continued under Trump, right? It's going to go even lower now because of Trump's decisions, because of the decisions of Republicans in Capitol Hill and hell here in Texas, we're headed straight into a recession, right? And we'll have even fewer immigrants because people are not going to want to come here when we're in recession, right?
And my last question to you is, as far as I know, there was a lot of talk this session that Democrats couldn't be committee chairs. They were instead vice chairmen and chairwomen of the committees and chairs of subcommittees.
Yeah.
How did that work out? And do you envision that remaining that way going forward?
Look, I mean, from the very beginning, I think what people need to know is what was most important to the leadership in the legislature. The Republican leadership was playing political games, was to deal blows to their political adversaries, was to punish people for their party, whatever it is. Not focusing on doing what's needed for the state to move forward. And Democrats fought for the best rules that we could get, right? Given our numbers, given what was set in front of us, we got the best deal we could. We retained as much power as we could, and we used and leveraged what power we had to affect the legislature as much as we can. So we were able to lock up some bills in committee. We're able to kill some really bad bills there. We're able to move some of our bills forward. Um, how did it work out? I think we'll see. We got some bills across the line, a lot less than we normally would, but you know, um, Democrats are as working as hard as they can, given how much Republicans are stacking the deck against us.
House Democratic Caucus Chair and State Representative Gene Wu of Houston, thank you again for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you.